How do we feel about in this day and age? I don't even know why this exists, to be honest, anymore. And like, I think paparazzi made sense back before there was people with phones.
Yeah, because people had no other way to keep up with celebrities.
Yeah. Do you think are you taking seriously the North paparazzi
Yeah,
back and forth thing?
kinda. 'Cause I see North as she's Kanye. I see that she gets a lot of her personality from him. Obviously, you're gonna get your personality from your parents, right? So we see a lot of Kanye in her. And if you believe in astrology, her and Kanye are both Geminis. So I think a part of it is just her. Like being 9 is not a far memory for me. Like for some reason, like I could vividly remember being 9, 10. Like that's when I moved to Jersey. Like that time for me is not a far memory. I remember how I acted at that age, all that. So a part of me feels like she's being funny, but another part of me feels like, nah, maybe she really is uncomfortable. And this is something that we gotta like address. Like if she's saying she's uncomfortable, like why keep messing with her? She's vocalizing it. But then I don't know if Kim is also posting this like online and saying, "Oh, look at North's stop sign," like saying stop. She's so funny. So she knows her daughter, and maybe it's not bothersome to North because she said North was laughing at it. But sometimes kids don't tell you how they really feel. She might be holding back. So I think I'm on the side of just don't be so pushy with her. If she's saying leave her alone, leave her alone.
Yeah.
And Kim should understand that too. But it's her kid. I'm also on the side of I'm not telling nobody what they do with their kids.
Yeah, I think we gotta let paparazzi go.
Yeah, I think paparazzi culture is.
I think it's over.
It's so whack to me. Like it does seem like very old school. And like I get it on the side of like a lot of celebrities actually call the paparazzi just to get good pictures. Like you could tell like Kim literally would put North in the car and she like turned around and she was like this. And she like slowly closed the door. Like you could see the paparazzi videos where they be slowly closing the door. They be walking like that video I showed you of Lori Harvey. When she was clearly like doing a walk to get her abs in the bag. Yeah. They do that. They call them on themselves to get good pictures of their outfits and then they post them.
Why not just call a photographer then?
Exactly. That's what I don't get. Like, why draw attention to yourself? But I think they also like the attention. They like to seem famous and important.
That's definitely part of it. Yeah. But it's like, do you feel that the way that they're doing the paparazzi photos of children is appropriate or
I don't think that's appropriate because like now you're kind of like in general taking pictures of non-consenting people is kind of weird unless you're calling yourself, but for a kid it is kind of weird because like you are like bombarding them for your own gain, like you're kind of exploiting the child for your own gain.
Now I read this from a comment. It didn't even have any particularly like a lot of likes or anything like that because it was an account that posted the video that all the other accounts were posting, but because they were a small account, it didn't have a lot of comments or anything or interactions. But basically, somebody called the guy. Did you see the video when North was coming out asking why they're always filming?
Yeah, and then he
said,
like,
"We love you."
Yeah, remember this? He said, "Nerf."
Yeah, we love you, Nerf.
Yeah, but it was like, who's Nerf?
Somebody called him a pedophile for saying that.
Okay, yeah. See, that's when people do too much. That's when people. Yeah, I seen that. I seen some of that too.
Yeah,
that's what kind of like the Doja Cat minor thing. It's like people be pushing it. Like he's not a pedophile. Like, come on, relax. And that's that culture too. They were in Paris. They're very like, oh, we love you. Like getting people. That's just celebrity culture in general. He wasn't being weird, in my opinion.
I don't know. I hate paparazzi. I hate the idea of it.
I hate them too.
You're making money off of other people and they're not able to make money off their own pictures that you took of them.
Like Kanye brought this up.
The sickest thing is a company like Getty Photos can take a picture of you and then they own the image.
Yeah,
and then if you post it, if you try to post it, then you could get sued for a picture that
but it's you.
It's like, yo, this shit is crazy.
And Kanye tried to address that, but Kanye, anytime he brings stuff up, people call him crazy. No one was behind him on that. I'm trying to push that for them to make profit off paparazzi pictures. Because they should. That's your image.
Yeah, the kid thing, recording kids is crazy.
It is.
Nobody could tell me that. Nobody can try to justify it for me. Now, they're calling paparazzi on themselves. That's different. Mm-hmm. But you're taking pictures of somebody's child for money. Mm-hmm. Like, you're taking pictures of other people for money. Like, that's like, it's almost like I don't respect it as a profession.
And then you're getting the kids that like, it might be like a weird, unflattering angle. Something that just might be weird, And it's like, it is kind of a level of like, you gotta sit back and look and be like, yeah, this is a kid. This is a 9-year-old.
Yeah, and it's not even on no like accusing people of pedophilia type thing. But for me, it's just I'm looking at the root of what it actually is. You have grown men and women. Women are paparazzi too, but it's mostly men following famous people around to take pictures of them. It's weird. Yeah. And it's weird not in the sense of like obviously taking pictures of people that are popular. That part isn't weird, but it's like at the root of it is weird.
Yeah.
It's like, let me take a picture of pregnant Janae. Like, it's like, I don't know. I know I'm okay with being the crazy person in the room always, but that's just my opinion.
And people always like to defend paparazzi. It's like, oh, they gotta make a living. That when you're famous, you sign up for this. It's like, but you can still respect famous people. That's the thing I don't get. You can still respect them as a person.
People can also be famous, and paparazzi can also not exist. Both things can be true.
Like you look what the job is. You're creating a job for people to harass people.
Basically, what it is. Like let me go stand.
Make them fear for their lives, low key, because like I can't even imagine how that must feel. You can't do you
can't
go
do
out,
anything.
or even if you're just chilling. Like there was a picture of Millie. Like I said, sometimes I don't trust it because I feel like sometimes people do paparazzi on themselves. But there was a picture of Millie. Bobby Brown on like a little boat on vacation with her boyfriend. Like that's weird. They take a picture of her butt and stuff. Like that's weird. Now that she's 18, it's just weird.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
And then you could kind of tell like like I said, you can't really tell if they calling on themselves, but sometimes if they don't, you could tell that when the moment they catch the paparazzi, because they be squinting. Like that gets to give me the creeps. Like you imagine you're on a boat with your man or your girl, and like you look over and people are taking pics. Like that's sick.
And that's what I'm saying. Like. At the root of it, like, let me go as a grown man, go to the airport and film
like a 9-year-old.
Is weird shit.
Or just
like
a pregnant woman.
And nobody can tell me any differently. I don't care what anybody's opinion is. I don't care about people need a job. There's 100 million different jobs you can do in life that don't involve taking pictures of little kids or taking pictures of anybody without their consent. Yeah. If they called you, that's different. But 99% of the time, I'm gonna assume that you just showed up to an airport where because people could track flights. Like this has been a thing where I don't know if you saw the guy that tracks famous people's flights, and then it became like a security issue recently. Like he was tracking like Elon's.
How was he finding their name?
Through he was doing something with like reading through code, and like was able to track like Elon's jet flying privately, by the way.
Yeah.
From this place to this place and telling people where they're gonna land, what time they're gonna land.
People watch flights too, so if you like at least watch the flight tracker thing and like a celebrity is leaving for some place, and some social media now too, people will show themselves. A lot of times people are posting late, which they should, but people will show themselves, or like there's festivals going on, like they know people got a festival in London or whatever, so you could easily look and see what planes are going to London.
Yeah.
Or sit in London airport knowing that celebrities are coming.
Yeah, North holding up the stop sign and stuff like that. Like, I get it. It's cute. It's funny. Haha. But at the root of it, still, like, stop filming.
And that's why these kids grow up and be like, I don't like that some people were in the comments were literally putting this on her, so I don't want to put this on her, but people were like, don't be shocked when North becomes an addict by 16. I'm like, don't put that on her. Like, I don't like that. But that's a real reality.
That's what it does to you.
Yeah.
You can't go outside.
These child stars.
You can't go do anything. Mm-hmm. Because it costs you money to go outside. You got to pay for security. Mm-hmm. You got to move in a certain way. Because, of course, they do, like, call paparazzi on themselves. But sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do just want to go to CVS and pick up deodorant without being recorded. And you see the way
they live, too. They have to, last time when they want to do regular stuff, they have to clear it out. Like, Kim and North were at the Louvre. There was nobody in there. I'm like, so they definitely got to close down for an hour for them to go to the museum.
I know they ask for it, but at the same time they don't, because people can be famous and also people not be psycho.
Yeah, but then it's just I know it's for the fear probably for her own life, especially because what happened in Paris to her. So I know it's definitely fear for her. To make sure stuff is just closed and like she still wants to enjoy those things and for North to have those experiences, but it's unfortunate that you have to like close down the whole museum for you to go see Mona Lisa. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But people need to.
Or like even because again we don't know if people are calling paparazzi themselves, but Kanye being on the side of the road in Malibu.
Yeah.
People like Kanye was stranded.
Yeah, they're like, he needs, what the heck? I'm tired of New York. They're like, he needs someone to go pick him up. He looks so sad. The whole time, come to find out, he was just looking at his house. He's getting a house built in Malibu. He was just watching the process. Like, that's fun. I would do that if I was rich. I'm gonna go watch.
Yeah, just chill.
Yeah. He didn't look sad. Like, they're like, oh, he's sad.
He's just on his phone.
Yeah, like, and the sun's in his eyes, so of course he looks like scrunched up. Like, I'm sure he's okay. Like, we don't. Obviously, he's probably still hurting from this divorce, but people would be coming up with all these think pieces over like little clips and then spreading a false stories, like the stranded story I seen everywhere. I'm like, he wasn't stranded. Like, what are you guys talking about?
There was no car next to him that was broken down or something. Like
people
somebody threw him out the car, and he just was sitting there like, shut up.
People are psycho and they believe anything, and then they repost it.
And you can't be stranded in Malibu. Like, it's Malibu, for God's sake.
It's Kanye. Like
stop. He was probably, having been there, he was probably directly across on the other side of the road was probably a $40 million, 200 square foot house.
But see, that what kind of creeps me out though. So now the paparazzi knows where his future home is.
And they're gonna know that anyway. Like,
yeah, because apparently it's like, obviously that's public information, but apparently that's like a thing. Like, this guy, he lied too. It was crazy. With this big story. Like, he was a Postmates or DoorDash something, and he showed a bag. He's like, guys, like, I'm literally dropping off food to Kylie's house. Like, it was under a different name, but he literally showed like the pepperoni and like all the stuff, like all the meat, like that he had from like the deli in the bag. Like, he literally proved that it was that. And then like literally the next day, she posted sandwiches on her TikTok and her Instagram, and like it was like, that's the pepperoni you brought her, like tagging him. But he made this whole lie about how like he saw into the house and like crossed this little river thing. Kylie literally dressed her. She was like, there's no river at my house, and you can't even see into the windows. Like, you got up to the gate and gave the food to my assistant. Like, I'm lying. But the main
even
thing,
that, like,
even that is weird.
DoorDash drivers trying to get clout.
Yeah, like, you made a whole story like, I'm at Kylie's house. Like, you're recording himself walking up to the house. Like, it's so weird. But
it's a lot of weird shit.
The point of me bringing this up is that when he was at the house, he showed that there was a Hollywood tour bus like outside her house. So that's so scary. I cannot be famous, but people know where they live. They literally have Hollywood tours, like, in New York buses, like they had the whole thing in Hollywood. I know when you was out there, you guys don't have time to do that type of stuff. But
I wouldn't do it anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do it, but like you're driving past, like, oh, on the right here's Kylie Jenner's house, like that.
Ooh.
And it's like taking pictures, Kylie's house, like, it's so weird. The whole culture is very weird. Like, just because somebody's famous and you feel like they're cool and stuff doesn't mean they don't have a right to like peace. Like, isn't it peaceful just being at home and relax? Like, I can't imagine being famous and constantly worried. I can't.
I've walked. It doesn't happen to me as often now because I don't walk a lot and I'm on the subway. Mm-hmm. But when I was walking from Penn Station to Grand Central, mm-hmm. you see so many famous people.
Yeah.
And everybody blends in in New York, but
there's a lot of famous people in New York.
Yeah.
And lots of times you don't even notice because they do kind of blend in.
Everybody just blends in.
And like, people are on the go. People are on go in New York. Like, you're constantly like, I gotta just get to where I'm getting. You don't want to, there's a lot of crime, obviously. So like, no one's really paying attention to their surroundings that much.
Right.
So they do blend in a lot in New York.
So I've come across a lot of famous people, mm-hmm. and this is not me being holier than thou, but I've never asked anybody for a picture because it's like, it's okay to not do that. It's okay to not press nobody. People are trying to go to wherever they're going, and that it's got to be frustrating getting stopped.
Yeah. Like, hey, can I have a picture? Like,
because I feel
like the best time to get a picture of somebody is if they're having a meet and greet. They're setting it up.
I think the assumption too is that people want to do certain things to become famous, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I want to do music, but not for the purpose of becoming famous because I don't find any value in that personally. Like, obviously fame can lead to more money, but I rather get to the money without being famous. Mm-hmm. So my purpose in doing music, if I just happen to become popular or famous, that's not my goal.
Yeah, like, it would just be like, dang, okay,
well,
whatever.
like, it came, whatever. Yeah. But my goal is for people to see my music, and kind of like the same way I feel like people, like actors are like that. You'll see a lot of really famous actors still do Broadway, even though that doesn't reach as big of an audience because they love acting.
They love acting, yeah.
And they just happen to become famous because they're good at acting. But I don't think anybody does. We're in a different time, but I don't think that most of the people that do the arts and entertainment thing do it for the purpose of becoming famous.
The only people who pursue fame is the Kardashians. Like, they, people like them. Like, Kim specifically pursued fame. She said, I'm going to be famous one day. She specifically pursued this life.
Right.
And she likes the fame. She loves the fame. She loves the paparazzi. She said it herself.
I don't think basketball.
A lot of people don't like it.
Basketball players aren't
maybe I showed you this.
Yeah. Basketball players aren't trying to get into the league for the purpose of being famous. They're going for the purpose of competing at the highest level and trying to get a championship. Being famous has nothing to do with anything. It's not going to being popular is not going to make you more money. There's a lot of popular people that don't have money. So for them is trying to be successful, and they just happen to get fame from being good at what they do. So not everybody that's famous wants to be famous and wants paparazzi. Like, there's no benefit in that. Like, even I was watching the Warriors the other day, leaving from the team garage at the stadium, and people just recording them driving away, which is okay. Dangerous as fuck.
It's so dangerous.
Crazy.
You don't know who's in that crowd.
Which is another reason why I don't really particularly care for following people around and recording them and stuff like that. But
yeah, because like, and that's the thing, like, too, people get so offended when celebrities be like, oh, no, like, like when they're so defensive, like, oh, they were so mean. It's like, you can't really blame them. They might not, like, they don't know you. And they might have had a situation, they might have heard stories. They don't know you, So it's like, you could be a real threat to them. And like, so they don't know you personally. I'm sure if they knew you personally, knew how much of a fan you were, they might feel bad. But at the same time, if you really are a fan, then aren't you going to respect their space? And like, I know like you're a huge fan. I know you're like, wow, like I see this person, I really want to capture this moment. You still have to respect them as a human. And people got to look past this whole like glorification
of humans.
Us humans. It's scary just because they're talented.
Because it's okay to just have the moment, right? Like, unless you have some sort of like degenerative brain condition, you're gonna remember that you ran into so and so. Like, you are. You don't need to take a picture. You don't need to take a picture with them either.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Like, I've seen a lot of famous people. I've also personally met a lot of famous people. And that's okay. I have no pictures of any of it. And that's okay with me.
A memory, yeah. And you gained what you wanted out of it. Like, oh, that's cool. We saw them.
And it's not even that necessarily that something's cool. It's just like, oh, that's random.
Like, even last Monday, like on 4th of July, like, I still recorded it because it was like, but like Shaq DJing, like, I was like, all right, time to go. Like, it was just Shaq. Like, it was cool. Like, I was like, oh, wow, that's Shaq there. Like, that's crazy. But then I was like, all right, let's go home. Like, people who are real, like, obsessed with celebrities, they sat there with that music there. I'm like, this EDM
probably got a
trash.
Picture.
They might have got a picture. And it was cool seeing him. Like, that's still one of the greatest basketball players that was right in your presence. But it's like, it's being, like, other than that, it's like, he's still a human. I'm like, all right, there's Shaq up there DJing. Cool.
Yeah.
Time to go home.
Yeah. You got anything else?
Nah. Leave North alone. Before she goes Kanye on you guys. It's going to be interesting to see. She is a teenager, though. I really hope this stuff doesn't have long-term impacts, because that's what this is kind of what Kanye was trying to prevent. Yeah. And everybody's calling. It's on the end on this note, too. It's funny because I saw a tweet. I always had a reference to Twitter. But they were like, everybody was calling Kanye crazy and abusive and all these other things a few months ago when he was talking about North being on TikTok, right? But now here comes everybody criticizing Kim and saying that North shouldn't be, like, in the public. Like, this is literally what Kanye was saying. And everybody was calling him crazy and all types of controlling, but a few months ago. But now it's, oh my God, save North. Like, people are just, I get why Kanye be going ghost on people. He said on his speech, too, when P. Diddy got, like, that award, he said that he had to come out for this, but he said he was going to declare himself legally dead for a year. I'm like, Kanye, don't say stuff like that, please. But he trying to hide. I'm sure he's fed up. I'm sure he's fed up.
Yo,
people have been calling him crazy for decades. I will be like, F you guys.
You know what the thing is? And that's the part, right? Because I think as much as everybody, like, nobody's important, because anybody can be taken out at any point and there would be no record of you, right? For me, I think that I think that people, if Kanye disappeared, right, he would be perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Like, one of the things that I've seen physically in person about people that have a significant amount of wealth in terms of where their homes are and things like that, Twitter and social media and even public perception itself is not a real thing. Like, we're talking about Kanye and Kim and North right now. They never gonna hear this
at all.
And they could, but they're not going to.
But more than likely not.
And he's still who he is no matter what. He could be all the way, because when we were in the Bahamas and we were seeing all these like $60 million houses, $60 million islands, whatever. These people can exist out here and nothing that anybody says means anything. It really doesn't.
That's the thing too, if people realize at the end of the day, and we always like talk about this, at the end of the day, you're still you. You're still you. When the day is over and you're sitting in your bed and you're your own thoughts, you're you. And they're them.
We talked about how many people.
And they're living the dream. Like, you know, of course they deal with certain stuff, which is sad. But they're still where most people wish they could be and will never be. Most people will never be billionaires. You guys will never get that.
And that's why I always keep myself with what we were talking about the whole episode is self-importance. I'm probably going to call the pod self-importance. We talked about who today? Snapman, Doja, Kanye, Kim, North. Who else? What are the celebrities we talk about? Anybody, any celebrity,
that's like really the main one.
Any celebrity we talked about today. The second these cameras go off, they're nothing in their life has changed.
They're still probably somewhere on an island right now, feet kicked up,
doing
millions in their bank account, doing what we will all wish. What
I would trade.
And what do we gotta do?
Well, I don't know if I'll go that far. But
what we gotta do? Prepare for our Sunday to go back to work.
Right, which is why I never give myself
Monday to Friday.
Never think that I'm important.
Yep. People, and that's the thing. People who be doing way less than us are the main ones who have so much inflated mindset. Like, you work at freaking Subway. Like, so let's really break down who you are. Like, and you think you're so, like, you have this inflated mindset that you're so important. And this stand, like, you know, go back to what we talk about stand culture. These crazy stands, like cursing other people out. Like, you're who you are at the end of the day, and this person is living the life. Like, you're criticizing them and doing all this stuff, and they're literally them. It's just crazy.
No.
Yeah, people. I think that's like the moral of this podcast is people who really got. None of us are that important. We're not. I think you're important within your circles and your life and who loves you, and that's it.
But nobody else cares.
Beyond that, nobody else cares. Think about all the people that we walked past in our lifetime that all live separate lives that we know nothing about. That we don't even remember who they are. Like the way people act like they're the main character in public. Those people go home and I don't even remember they even saw you. I don't even remember anybody I saw today. I can't tell you anybody. Like only people I really remember is people from the exhibit because we kind of were like with them for a minute. But anybody who on the street, I can't even tell you. I can't even pinpoint anybody I've seen what they were wearing. That's people need to realize. Nobody cares about you really at the end of the day. So get that self-importance out of your head. Like, you can have confidence. You can love yourself, of course. But it's like the inflated ego that you're like beyond human almost. That you're like a god almost.
Yeah.
The god complex. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you actually, we talk about Kanye. Unless you do, like, I give Kanye a little bit of slack for him saying that he's a god because he done. I don't want to say he done god things. He done major things. It be people talking about. It be people having god complexes that work at Arby's, like. And haven't done any significant things to society, to impact society, with this God complex.
Them handing out orders isn't significant?
It is. That was it, except putting meat in the buns.
Thank you guys for watching. This has been the A Couple of Things podcast, where we talked about a couple of things.
And tweeting.
And once we get to this point in the pod, it is time to go.
Yeah, once we start getting delirious.
Once you start putting meat in buns, it's time to go.
No, I'm saying that's the only significance to life.
We are out of here.